Welcome to this presentation on adaptive learning technology. I'm going to start looking at an overview of what is adaptive learning. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into Smart Sparrow software in particular, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons, both of Smart Sparrow and of adaptive learning technologies. So what is adaptive learning? Adaptive learning is a wonderful marriage of great pedagogy and technology. It looks at taking the feedback from assessments, giving feedback in real time to students, and then forming a pathway for the students to learning to follow based on the information that was gained in the assessments. So it means individualized, personalized learning with immediate feedback, including looping back to areas that perhaps the student needs more help with, and then being able to move forward through the course to ensure mastery. And you can imagine that when this happens, the pathway to mastery can be different for every single student. So what you see here is a picture that I've taken from the Smart Sparrow website showing mastery at the very top and the variety of ways that students can take to get there. So it might be that a student coming into the classroom has got wonderful background knowledge, could go through the course could go through the learning outcome very quickly and achieve mastery. When we're talking about adult education, this is really important, and it's one of the bases for andragogy, for adult education pedagogy, to ensure that we acknowledge the prior learning that students are coming in with. Some other students might need a little bit more background, or possibly that there was a section that was a building block, like a base of this course, that they've missed in their education prior or their lives prior that we need to go back and look at. So adaptive learning will take the assessment, the feedback from the assessment, and then we'll draw that path to ensure the student is really well supported in making that mastery. So let's have a look at Smart Sparrow in particular. Smart Sparrow is a software program that works with adaptive learning. I chose it because it was designed in Australia. Well, that's not really why I chose it, but I chose it because it was based in health sciences. So it grew in Australia out of this need for lab technology to be available to everybody learning in the health sciences field. And it has grown from there. It is not just health sciences anymore. On their website, it links to many things, including higher level skills, 21st century skills. It talks about English skills. So it's grown from sciences into more. It does include snippets and scenarios that students can do actively in, for example, a lab style setting, and takes the feedback from them using the data analytics in order to create that pathway for students to walk through. I really enjoyed looking at it, and I did a quick demo. So if you feel like you would like to have a look at it, then smartsparrow.com is the website to go to have a look, and there are demos that you can go and look through. If we come to the pros and cons, when we're talking about Smart Sparrow in particular, there is a cost to it. So that can be a concern, but it can also be a positive because it's designed to reduce the student cost of lab experiences. So rather than having to buy equipment for every single student, some of the more general lab experiences can be done through a computer simulation. So it's reducing cost to the individual student, but the software does have an outlay, which is a concern for the organization. As well as a money outlay, there's also a time outlay for faculty members. It can be quite a lot of time in order to set up the course at the front end. The idea is that throughout time, throughout the course, that time is recouped in time saving throughout the semester. However, generally in higher education, this time saving throughout the semester is one that has yet to come to full fruition. Smart Sparrow is well integrated into the major LMSs. It integrates into Canvas, it integrates into Blackboard and Moodle, and many of the other smaller LMSs it integrates into. I really think that a positive is the way that Smart Sparrow uses gamification. Gamification is one of the more common, the more recent inclusions into higher education, showing results of more student interaction, better mastery of goals because students are doing the assignments a couple of times over because they're kind of fun to do, and it increases collaboration. There are some concerns around Wi-Fi access. These kind of things take a lot of Wi-Fi bandwidth, and so you need really high speeds, which could be a diversity concern. It is currently only available in English, and it has a really narrow focus. For example, it doesn't provide a recordings within it or a way to create graphics, but rather it just links to other software that does that. That can be good and bad, right? They're focusing on what they do well. They're not trying to diversify into broader things. The other thing is that there are some concerns around adaptive learning in general, that the trial and error style of learning can be removed if students pass mastery the very first time. So there are some concerns around mastery and adaptive learning. That's a more general concern and probably a great topic for another essay. Thank you very much for listening. These are the references that I have. I'll also include these in my assignment.